Hey everybody, welcome to another review, and today I will be reviewing mid-90s. Yes, I don't know if you can see that real good, but yeah, don't have, again, like my last review was the straight story, and I didn't have a DVD or Blu-ray of it, so I had to just show the poster from my phone on it, but yeah, mid-90s. Let's see, when did this come out? This came out in 2018. That was 2 years ago. 2 years ago. That's a 2 years ago's, but 2 years ago and almost three. And this is directed, surprisingly, by Jonah Hill. Yes, the Jonah Hill, the same Jonah Hill from funny movies like Superbad and all that, the exact same guy. This is his directorial debut, and the only actor that I know, well, I've heard of anyways, in this movie is Catherine Watterson. All these other actors, I don't know who they are, and they have some names. Some of them have names where I can't pronounce, so yeah. But anyways, yeah, this movie mid-90s. This is of course about the mid-90s, hence the title. It takes place in the 90s, and it's about this kid named Stevie who wants to hang out with the so-called cool kids. He thinks that they're cool, so he hangs out with them. And oh, sorry, thought I heard the door open, but should be locked. Anyways, it was just the wind blowing. But anyways, he wants to hang out with the cool kids, and he meets up with some of them who are skateboarders, and he tries, to be a skateboarder himself, and yeah, that's pretty much the movie. I don't really want to say everything in this because it might spoil it. I might get into it a little bit, but yeah. So did I like this movie? I don't know, honestly. Kind of, but kind of not. Yeah. Do I think this is a good movie? For the most part, yes. It is pretty good. And it's not a bad, direction from Jonah Hill. He did a decent job directing this film. Actually, a pretty good job. Not just decent, but actually, it was good. And there's some interesting stuff in this film too, like interesting camera shots and stuff. I kind of feel like he's learned from Scorsese a little bit, because there was one scene I remember where one of the characters was walking around and the camera was following him. That kind of reminds me a little bit kind of like that scene in Goodfellas with Ray Lolita and Karen. I forgot the actress who played her, but kind of like that. And also it also reminded me a little bit like Mean Streets, another Scorsese film. Kind of reminded me of that with the music playing. So I could see some Scorsese influence in this film a little bit, but also I believe this movie I think was mostly influenced by this film from the 90s I still need to see, called Kids. Rosario Dawson was in it. That was written by Harmony Korine, who directed movies like Gummo and Spring Breakers. And also, a little known fact, I looked it up on the internet, but actually Harmony Korine actually has a cameo in this film. He was just in one scene, and I don't even think he had any dialogue. It just showed him once. He was playing this guy, I think, that was banging the kid's mom. So I thought, though, I didn't know that was him, because I'm not really sure what he looks like, but I looked that up, though, and I was like, oh shit, that's funny. Anyways, but yeah, I should also mention actually a little more about the story. There's also a part, so some moments with Stevie, the main character, his brother, who is much older than him. Uh, he like he is such an asshole. Like he's just a dick, and he literally beats him up, and that's man, that's fucked up. But I had to say though, other than that, like that stuff, the actor who played him, hold on, let me look at his name. Hold on, just give me a second. Lucas Hedges. I don't know. He might be. I think he might be kind of well known. I'm not really sure. That's what he looks like, Lucas Hedges. I don't know what he's been in. Oh, he was in Moonrise Kingdom. I didn't know that. Oh. Anyways, yeah, that's who plays his older brother, and yeah, he wasn't actually very good in this film. I didn't think he, like, I don't know, he just his acting was just off, and I just wasn't into it really. All the other acting pretty much though is good. It's pretty good. Even the kids who played his friends were most of them. Actually, all of them were pretty good. Actually, there was one that was a little bit off, but for the most part, they were good. And the kid who plays Stevie, the main character, is really good in this film. Like, he's unbelievable. And Catherine Waterston was pretty good as well. Anyways, let's see. What else should I say about it? Yeah, okay. So I thought this movie was pretty well made. Like, I thought, like, for the most part, Jonah Hill's direction was really good. I'll talk about the positives first. And like I said, most of the acting was good, and the soundtrack was good. It was scored by Trent Reznor and Atticus Ross, who, of course, Trent Reznor is mostly known for being the frontman for Nine Inch Nails. But him and this guy Atticus Ross, they also do a lot of like film scores. Like they did like David Fincher's last 4 films. I don't know. Actually, I don't know if they did make that new David Fincher film. I'm not real sure about that, but I know they did The Social Network and Girl with the Dragon Tattoo, and I think Gone Girl as well. But yeah, I think they only have like about maybe 4 songs that they recorded for this film, but they're good though. They're really good. I like their score a lot. I'm not like a big Nine Inch Nails fan, but I gotta say, Trent Reznor and Atticus Ross are really good film composers. Yeah, they are. And the soundtrack, the source music or whatever you want to call it, it had some good stuff. Mostly a lot of 90s hip hop rap, which I like some of that stuff. Like, I think there was a Cypress Hill song in it, and I like Cypress Hill. And some others too. But there's also like some other music, like there was a Pixies song, one of my favorite bands, the Pixies, yeah. There was a song in that, Wave of Mutilation. It was actually the slower version, which was called the UK surf version. It was that, and that was pretty cool, hearing that in it. And it was in a really cool scene, too, wherever he was trying to learn how to skate by himself. He, like, kept falling and stuff, though. But the music, that song went really well with that scene. There was also, like, mostly 90s music, but there was some others that were a little bit older. Like they had like Misfits and Bad Brains. They had like a couple songs from them, and they even had a Mamas and the Papas song, and I thought that was kind of weird. It was during like a skate scene, but it went pretty well with it though, I have to say. Oh, the skating scenes are really good, I have to say. I'm not a skater. I never was really. I used to play Tony Hawk's American Wasteland. I used to have that game for GameCube. That was like closest I ever really came to actually skating. Well, actually, at one point I did have a skateboard, but I never really used it. So, yeah. Anyways, though, I was never a skater, but I don't know. It was kind of cool, like seeing them skateboard and stuff in this film. I thought that was kind of cool. What else should I say? I think my favorite character in the film, I liked Stevie, but there was one of his friends, this older, I don't know, he might be 17-year-old black kid named Ray. I liked him. I thought his character was really good, really. And, like, I mean, he was a little mature, too. He was probably the most mature out of his friends. I mean, he was still kind of immature, because teenagers are immature. But I don't know. He was the most mature person, and he didn't really give Stevie a lot of shit. There was one of those kids who he was friends with that gave him shit a lot. I think his name was Ruben, and he gave him shit a lot. So I guess just trying to be tough and stuff. Sometimes you have a friend that, is like kind of an asshole to you, and that's what Ruben was. But Ray wasn't that way. He was actually a pretty cool, nice guy. And he was probably my favorite character in that film, I have to say. I don't know who plays him, but I think he's a rapper too. He's a skateboarder too. I think all the actors, including the kid who plays Stevie, they're all skateboarders too. I think that's really cool that they hired actors who could skate. That's really good. And that, whoever played Ray, he was a skateboarder, and I guess still is, and he's a rapper as well. But yeah, I liked his character a lot. And there was this other kid whose name, this is his nickname. His name was Fuck Shit. His name was Fuck Shit. I thought that was kind of weird. It was just his nickname, but he was the funny one in the movie. He was like the comic relief, and he was pretty funny. He was like the only thing that was funny about this movie, because, this movie was pretty much just a straight up just drama, but there was a little bit of comedy in it, and it was mostly just from him. And there was also another kid. There was 4 kids. There was Ray, Ruben, Fuck Shit, and this other kid his nickname was Fourth Grade, and he was like he was the quiet one in the group, and he always had a camera on him, and he would always like shoot what their film whatever they were doing whenever they were skating and stuff. And he was all right too. I think my least favorite was Ruben, because he was a prick, but the actor who played him was pretty good though. I had to give him that. Anyways, all right. Negatives. I don't know. This movie is kind of slow, which isn't a big deal. It's not the slowest movie I've ever seen. It's not really boring either, so that's good, But it's really short, too. This movie is like, let me look up how short it is. It's like, I want to say around 80-something minutes. Just give me a second. It is 85 minutes. That's how long this movie is. And sometimes, sometimes it's okay to see a short film. I don't really like watching those short type movies. It's not like this isn't like a short film, like a short film, but it is a short movie, you know what I mean. But yeah, I don't know. The ending wasn't really much. I'm not going to say what happens, but the ending, it wasn't actually no, the ending was pretty good. But it felt like it was just rushed, and it just happened too quickly. That was, I think, the only thing I had against the ending. It just happened too quickly, and I don't know. And also, I have to say, this movie kind of made me feel uncomfortable a little bit. There's some stuff in this film, like it gets really serious and dark, and I don't know. That's like the only reason. That's like the big reason why I don't really like this movie a lot, because it just made me feel uncomfortable, and it's weird coming from me because I like dark stuff. I watch some of the darkest movies, possible, dark and weird movies. Like Racerhead is my all-time favorite film, and that's a movie that a lot of people will say that's only a movie that they can watch only once. I can watch that over and over again, and I love it each time I watch it. But they're like, even if they like the movie, some of them might say, "Yeah, it's a one and done for me. I don't see myself ever watching it again." That's actually kind of how I feel about this film. I don't know if I want to watch this again. But yeah, anyways, back to feeling uncomfortable. Yeah, and the reason for that is because I'm gonna try to describe some stuff that happens in this movie. I'll try not to like spoil anything, but if I do, I apologize. But in this movie, Stevie, he hangs out with these kids, and they're I don't know. You could say that they're bad influences, but because they smoke and swear a lot and all that, but I think it's kind of interesting because it does show that they're actually okay guys, at least because it's in the perspective of Stevie, because he likes them, so you kind of like them too. But anyways, yeah, but like some of the stuff, like it has Stevie like smoking and even drinking, and there was one scene as well that really made me feel uncomfortable. But there was a scene, where they're at a party and there's girls there, and he goes in a room with a girl, and I mean it just shows them making out, but that's all it shows. But yeah. And I was kind of like, what? Because I feel a little bit better about it now, and I'll get to that in a minute. But, okay, I'll get to it now. But I thought the kid was, like, honestly, like maybe about 10, 11 years old. But actually, I looked it up, and he was actually supposed to be, like, 13. So that made me feel a little bit better. I'm like, oh, okay, he's 13. All right. Even though he was still young, and the girl that he went in the room with was like, I don't know, I'm guessing 16, 17. So that might be a little bit weird, but I feel a little bit better because it would have been like really weird if it was a 10-year-old at a 16, 17-year-old, But it made me feel a little bit better that it was a 13-year-old with a 16, 17-year-old girl. But yeah, that scene did make me feel uncomfortable when I first watched it. But now I'm all right with it. I don't know. I thought the kid was younger because he's small. He's really short, and also his voice, isn't deep. It's really high pitched, and I think my voice first got deep whenever I was like 12. So I always had a deep voice all through my teenage years. So. Although I had I seen like some kids, at my school who had still didn't have a deep voice yet. They just still had high pitched voices. So yeah. But I thought that kid, just by looking and hearing him, I thought he was about 10. So that's why that scene made me feel uncomfortable. And even the scenes where he's smoking and drinking. And even swearing. Swearing, that didn't really bother me too much. But where he's drinking and smoking, too, I was like, man. But it really made me feel uncomfortable with that scene with him and the girl. But now I feel a little bit better because he's 13 after all. So, anyways, but yeah, that movie, although I was talking about earlier, Kids, that Jonah Hill kind of based it off of. And some of y'all might be thinking, if you've seen Kids, I bet you're probably thinking, well, if you think that was like disturbing or whatever, wait till you watch Kids, because I hear that movie's like really fucked up and just disturbing. And there's kids in that, teenagers having sex in it. So yeah. So wait till I watch that movie. This movie's probably not as bad as that, I imagine. But anyways, I don't know. It was just a little bit hard to watch for this film. And even, not just like one scene and the scenes where he's smoking and drinking, but also the scenes where he's getting beat up by his brother. Yeah, that was kind of, I don't know. That kind of makes me not want to watch this movie again. This movie's pretty depressing, and I don't know. I just don't think I will ever watch it again. I don't see myself watching it again. But I do think this is a pretty good movie. It could have been a little bit better, though, because it could have been longer. But, whatever. Jonah Hill made a pretty good film, so I'll give him credit for that. He made a better film than I could imagine, And it's, like I said, this movie's nothing like the movies that he stars in. So yeah. And usually when I see like a director like do a movie like Jordan Peele and John Krasinski or whatever, Jim Halpert from The Office, they both made horror films, Get Out and Quiet Place, and you watch those films and you know who those guys are, you're thinking, wow, they made that kind of film, they made that kind of movie. That's how it is with Jonah Hill. You watch mid-90s and you're thinking, wow, this is Jonah Hill? Yeah, pretty crazy, but yeah, he did a good job with this film, I thought. I hope he does more movies, though, and I hope they're better than this, but we'll just have to wait and see. But anyways, I am going to give this kind of a lower grade, though. I guess I'll go ahead and jump right into it since this video's getting long, and I apologize for that, but I'm going to give mid-90s a C+. Yeah, C+, because I wasn't quite into this film. Like I said, there were moments I liked, and mostly I liked the filmmaking of this film. I thought like it was like filmmaking wise and all that, it's very good. But like, kind of the lack of story at times, not really much. But and by the way, I guess I should have mentioned Jonah Hill also wrote this movie, so yeah. Which it's not a terrible script, no. But yeah, I don't know. I just wasn't quite into it, and I wasn't expecting what I was getting into. I didn't think it was going to be like that, though. All I knew was just about a kid growing up in the 90s, a coming of age film, set in the 90s. That's all I knew. I didn't know it was going to be like that. But whatever. I like to be surprised, when I watch films, so that's not a big deal. But yeah, I give it a C+ because I don't know. I kind of wish I liked it a little better than I did, and it's just not quite up there. C around C means it's okay to me, so almost like it though. I almost like this movie. C+ means I almost like it, so yeah. Mid-90s C+. That's what I give it. Okay, well, that's my review of mid-90s. So in the comments, tell me, have you seen mid-90s? Have you not? Also, what's your favorite Jonah Hill movie? Even though this is the only movie that he's directed, but just Jonah Hill movie in general, one that he's been in, stars in. Mine is either Superbad or Wolf of Wall Street. He's really good in both of those films, really funny. And also, this I should have also mentioned, this came from the company A24, who is probably the new Miramax now, because Miramax was like a big company in the 90s who did independent films. A24 does a lot of like big independent films now. Like they did Uncut Gems and The Lighthouse, I think. A bunch of others. I think they did The Lighthouse, did they? I don't know. I think they did. And they did some others too. What's your favorite A24 film? Mine, I think, is Tusk, which is that Kevin Smith movie, that horror comedy directed by Kevin Smith. I think that's my favorite A24 film. So, anyways, thank you for watching. Hope this wasn't too boring or whatever. I'm sorry. I just ramble a lot, I guess. That's why this video is long. Please like and subscribe. And not sure what my next video will be, but we'll just have to wait and see. Might be another review. I might watch another movie tonight. I don't know yet, but I'll see you whenever. So, peace.